Listen, Ian Miles Chong is the just pearly things of political content, okay? Literally nothing this guy tweets is of value. He, like, it's, yeah. Also, I don't know if I've made my stance official on this. I think I have. Greta Thunberg is fucking cringe. I do not give a fuck what this girl has to say about anything. I don't know how she became an international celebrity. Impassioned speeches by 15-year-olds are endearing to the heart, but I don't think you can make a career out of that. Well, apparently you can, but yeah, I don't care, okay? Do you read on her parents' background? It will make it more sense, sadly. Oh no. Are her parents like activists or something? That would make so much more sense. Born in Stockholm, the daughter of opera singer and actor. Greta says she first heard about climate change in 2011 when she was 8 years old and could not understand why so little was being done about it. The situation made her depressed, and as a result, at the age of 11, she stopped talking and eating much and lost 10 kilograms in 2 months. Bro, this is not healthy. What are you doing to your children? She was diagnosed with selective mutism. In one of her first speeches demanding climate action, Thunberg described the selective mutism aspect of her condition as meaning she only speaks when necessary. What? She struggled with depression for almost 4 years before she began her school strike campaign. Bro, if you're like clinically depressed at 11 or 12, there's some... Destiny, does she lack any serious policy positions? What do you not like exactly other than her cringe speeches? Well, she doesn't really have like any... She's just an activist. She doesn't have any qualifications or anything. And then also sometimes I think she probably steps outside and starts speaking about dumb shit. I don't remember all the intricacies of this because I read about this. This is a long time ago. But like when she started coming out and trying to tell, what was it, like in India, saying that like you should stop the, was it the rice paddies, or there was some farming agricultural stuff. It was just like she was just like entering into an area where she was completely and totally utterly clueless, and she was just like trying to tell. Yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was cringe. Ugh. Greta Thunberg is the Kyle Rittenhouse of the left.
I also went through a similar phase at 11 where I wondered why we aren't solving this massive issue, but it was about the Bermuda Triangle instead of global warming.
True, actually true. Actually true. Do you think I'll ever play D&D on stream again? I kind of want to do it. Now that I have my... You know what? Now that I have my kick deal, I should hit up Koebel for that solo D&D campaign. Remember the robot DM? People canceled him? Oh yeah, I'm laughing. A man's life was destroyed and you're laughing. It's not funny, but does he do anything anymore, or was he just like completely gone after that? I'm trying to come back by writing something for a D&D Kickstarter, but the D&D losers canceled the Kickstarter campaign because he was a part of it. Wait, link me. The Tragic Ballad of Adam Koebel, the fallen paladin of social justice. Did he actually do anything bad besides that one stream? What happened with this guy? He had like a he did like a D&D campaign episode
Destiny
where he
needs time.
He gave another woman's robot character like an orgasm, basically. Like installed a chip that made it orgasm, and then everybody lost their fucking mind. If I recall, the party didn't care until they saw the public's reaction. Yeah, the worst thing was that like they didn't even really care that much. It was just kind of awkward. But then once the public feedback started, the girl like retroactively traumatized herself. And then everything was over at that point. Adam Cole was the pinnacle of prestige. His persona had been firmly cemented. He had a large following and very dedicated fans. I'm sorry, a large following of very dedicated fans who subscribed to his ideas regarding inclusivity and consent in RPGs. And he was in a bunch of stuff online, including more live stream games. Nothing could have gone wrong for him. Enter Far Verona, Season 2, Episode 18. This clip is not for the faint of heart. Even if a description of a assault doesn't bother you, the sheer mortifying train wreck in progress likely will. Content warning. Explicit assault from 116 to 118.53.
So yeah, he's standing up.
You have to watch. I'm gonna make you watch this.
And he says to you, he's like, his eyes are like wide. You can see him like almost like tearing up a little with like, oh God, it's happening. And he says to you, he's like, don't be scared. I've done it before. I can show you. And he reaches over onto the table and he picks up some kind of like device, right? It's got a plug on one end and some buttons on the handle. And he says, I'm going to do it real gentle the first time and you tell me how it feels, okay? And
sure.
Hey, Destiny, are you back to your normal stream schedule now? Will you stream tomorrow and on the 4th of July?
I'll think about it.
He says there's a port in the back of your neck. You can feel it. And he gently, like he puts his hands up, like you're a scared animal. He's like, let me just, and he reaches up to touch it, right? And you can feel it. There's a port back there. And it's like, as far as you know, it's like a firmware update port. It's hidden at the base of your skull. You don't remember, like it's never been accessed while you are conscious. So he reaches up, you can feel it, and he holds up the device, and you can see that the prongs on the thing match the feeling of the plug. And he says, I'm just a little at first, okay?
Okay, sure.
And
Johnny has no idea what this guy's
slightly,
about to do. No idea what
trembling
this
a
guy's
little.
gonna do.
He places the edge of the device against the port and he presses a button. And Johnny has, for the first time in his entire life, whatever the equivalent of a robot orgasm, right there, hits you like a truck. Your whole system just like lights up with like positive experience indicators, and your vision like flickers and blurs. Your temperature sensors all go haywire for just a second. Your knees buckle slightly. And I think maybe that's the last shot. I think that's the shot of the episode, is Johnny getting his brain stimulated.
Wow.
By this sexy mechanic.
What a ride it's been.
I feel like this is where Johnny should shout for help. He's just yes, please. Let me kill this creep.
Robots need love too. All right.
But he thought he was gonna fix him.
Yeah, well,
not give an orgasm. Jesus Christ.
That's right. We have to start every episode with an explosion. So,
So for those who didn't watch what went wrong, basically Adam Koebel was GMing a game on Twitch with some hundreds of viewers, and one of the characters, a robotic bartender named Johnny, played by Elsapth Eastman, a woman. This is relevant. Sorry. Went to see a friend for repairs and upgrades. To cut a long story short, the character, the mechanic, controlled by Koebel, violated Johnny by forcing an orgasm upon him without permission. If you look at the players during the clip, you can see the horror and unease dawning on their faces as the situation unfolds, even as Adam keeps giggling his way through the description of a non-consensual assault on one of the characters. Though I couldn't find an archive of the live chat, it was in a very similar state of the players: bafflement, unease, disgust. By the end of the scene, poor Johnny never gets a chance to prevent or fight back against the assault, since he has no idea what's going to happen until it happens, and the session ends right afterwards. During the post-session discussion, a laughing Koebel responds to Johnny's horrified player that robots need love too. To fully grasp the magnitude of what has just happened, let's review a few things. Adam Koebel, the well-known face of consent promotion and safe spaces in tabletop RPGs, as a male GM, plays out what is clearly a pre-planned scene of non-consensual on one of the female player's characters, a player who is, by the way, a survivor of assault. Okay, survivor. Are we using survivor for most people aren't killed during assault. Okay, come on. In front of a live audience of hundreds, no agency is given to the player. At no point before or during the scene does Koebel make sure his player, especially the character's player, are fine with this. And on top of that, he appears intensely amused by the assault he's orchestrating in his game, even gloating about it afterwards. Nothing good could come out of this. I will say that, like, it was kind of cringe. And you probably, if you're doing, like, sexual shit with characters, you should probably clear it beforehand. I think that makes sense. Within a week, the show was put on an indefinite hiatus. In an official video on March 31st, on the segment, Koebel blamed poor implementation of consent tools such as the X card. When something you're not comfortable with is going on, you make or say a predefined gesture or phrase, or even raise a physical object, and the scene immediately ends and is glossed over, which he himself had actively and vocally championed in the past, and stated that they should have better discussed and implemented as a group. The evasive and blame-shifting explanation did not sit so well with Elsapth Eastman, the player in question, who released a video with her own statement. I like how
Hey everyone, Elsapth here.
I'm so sorry. It's all of this is so performative. I feel like in the real world, I feel like you're like, listen, can we not do shit like this? It's cringe, and I like it makes me kind of feel weird, especially like I'm a woman, you're a guy. Like, let's just not have like robot orgasms. I feel like that's the type of conversation that you could theoretically have in real life, but instead, oh my God.
I've noticed that what happened on the final episode on season 2 of Far Verona is making its way through social media. I've been thinking about what to say since it happened. Since my character, Johnny Collins, a very old synthetic bartender, was in this scene, I wanted to give my thoughts on the situation and how it affected me as a player. And yes, I wrote all this out because I'd like to be as clear and understood as possible. There is a trigger warning for sexual just so that you're aware. In the last episode of Far Verona, my character Johnny takes the group to a mechanic named Rocket, where Johnny states that he's been several times. This is the first time we, the audience, and
Also, we're trigger warning this? Bro, if you get triggered by this shit, your life is over, man. Your shit is fucked. There is no hope for you, okay?
the players have met this character. Johnny, however, trusts the people and the synths here, saying that he's gone here before to get fixed or patched up. In the last few scenes, my character is asked by Adam's character if he'll join him in the back room. Vanna's character, Haley, stops Johnny and says something like, "How about I come with you? We don't know this guy." Adam's character bristles at this because he doesn't want Vanna's character joining himself and Johnny. Johnny says it's going to be okay, this is a good guy, he's been here before, etc. And then Johnny and Haley establish a safe word, which is just help. So since Johnny and the rest of the cast had gotten hurt from an explosion earlier, Johnny gets back there thinking, cool, I'm gonna get patched up and be on my way like before. Instead, Adam decides that somehow the perfect time for his NPC Rocket to start hitting on Johnny. Johnny backs up because he doesn't know what Rocket is doing. Then seeing Rocket's disappointment, he says, "Hey, I'm down for new adventures." What does that mean to Johnny? Definitely not what happened next, which was getting an orgasm plugged into his sockets with some device that Rocket claims he's used many times. The kicker here is that before the episode, Adam wanted to know more about story arcs that I envisioned for Johnny. I said he definitely wanted upgrades to get rid of that bit crusher on his voice. We wanted to know more about the bartender who replaced Johnny, and specifically, I wanted Johnny to be able to say no to more people, including his friends. The way the episode ended was Johnny laying down willingly and then having this completely alien sensation happen. He was expecting upgrades. He barely has the concept of romance. Then Adam ends the episode there, leaving no room for Johnny to refuse or even just punch Rocket for violating his space. It felt very premeditated, and I was shocked and angry. After everything went down and people were expressing their discomfort, I messaged Adam saying that this was not what I envisioned for Johnny. He apologized for misreading my intent. I'm not sure how one could misread the intent to get fixed up as, let's give this guy an orgasm, but it happened despite the red flags anyway. I lost faith and trust in Adam as a GM, even after role-playing with him before. Hell, I might have even lost faith in him as a friend. Adam continues to say that the game mechanics were not properly in place, and that as a group, we should have discussed this prior to starting the show. Sure, that's a good idea in hindsight, but if you need to have a talk with your cast beforehand that you're planning on introducing a sexual predator NPC to one of their characters, I guarantee you, not one person would be okay with that, especially not in front of hundreds of people. This isn't a question about what could have prevented it when Adam is literally the one in charge. After rewatching the episode multiple times, I was no longer open to having my character or my name tied to the story, so I quit. And that's it. The rest of the cast and the production team of Far Verona continue to be wonderful people who I look forward to working with in the future. For now, these are my thoughts and feelings on the matter. To all the fans of the show and of Johnny, I thank you for watching, and thanks for hearing me out. Stay safe, stay healthy, peace.
In response, Adam released an official apology on Twitter the next day. Bear in mind that at this point, it's been over 10 days since the actual incident, and those 10 days have been filled with constant backlash against him, especially after the video he made on the cancellation of Far Verona. At this point, the apology is coming very late, only coming out in response to the backlash, some might say, and it's still kind of lackluster. When he does take responsibility to apologize, he doesn't ever actually address the fact that he thought it would be okay to run a sexual scene, bar an evasive half sentence, instead saying that he made a mistake and blaming his own internalized issues. It's worth noting that throughout this whole mess, his core fan base has never ceased supporting him. Some see in this fact the proof that what he did wasn't so bad after all, while others interpret it as Koebel cultivating a fan base where he can do no wrong, and where his celebrity acts as a get-out-of-jail-free card. I will let you make up your own mind. Chapter 4, the cancellation. At this point, he disappears from the internet for 2 months, till May 31st. There's no word from anywhere until a post appears on his Twitter timeline in response to BLM and the George Floyd killing.
Steven is my lost dad.
Understanding concepts like white privilege can help folks get a better handle on why what's going on in America today is so insidious. Racial Equity Tools has a primer on this topic. Holy shit. However, some like Jaron Johnson, creator of Monsters of America, accused him of attempting to take advantage of the situation as a means to squeaking his face back onto people's timelines in a positive light. He disappears again for a week. Then he publishes an article called Moving On his personal blog, headlined by a picture of him looking sorrowfully away from the camera. Wait, where's the picture? I'm so sorry. I'm leaving streaming. Out there is something new and still uncertain. I'm stepping back from creating live content, from my Twitch channel, and from all its connected spaces, but I'm not disappearing. Since this statement, he's published exactly 3 tweets. The first was promoting his new blog post on GMing. The response was split between fans happy to see him producing content again and others who called him out. Post about his resignation from a Dune RPG. And a one-sentence post telling his fans to buy a product released by another creator, with replies turned off. Today, Koebel remains relatively low profile. His RPG comeback having been met with backlash, he now focuses on his Instagram account with a changed username, where he regularly posts his artistic photos to the admiring comments of his fans. His final YouTube video's comment section reads like the memorial to a fallen hero, and his final tweets had a massive skew in favor of those saying they missed him and that Adama did nothing wrong. Perhaps this is merely the slumber of the beast, who will one day, when the community's finally moved on, attempt his triumphant return, much like Napoleon returning from exile on the island of Elba, or on the Isle of Elba. Incidental documentarian, hashtag VanSPC member, Film Plus Digital. Dear Adam, almost 2 years ago, my 38-year-old husband took his own life in our backyard. There are no words that can express the kind of grief and pain. That winter, my therapist suggested I circle back to hobbies and interests that I hadn't touched on since before my husband and I met, because the things that we had done together had become blah, blah, blah. Jesus. Jesus Christ. Destiny, bring him on kicker keep. Oh, no. Oh, Jesus Christ.